And our final speaker today is Hannah, who's going to talk about her beach project and Dunoon, who's going to get you started.
Yeah. Hello. I'm Hannah Clinch, and I'm a designer based in Dunoon. Like many people who work in Dunoon, I wear several different hats. So I do my graphic design work, I do bits of work for the Social Enterprise Academy, teaching people about social enterprise and how to create social enterprises. But I also have a bit of a passion for getting people involved in thinking about climate change and using design in a really productive way, hopefully within a community context. So the project I'm going to talk to you about today is called We Are Building a Beach Hut. There you go. So the slide up there is so in the background there, there's a beach hut. It's a beach hut owned by a guy called Frank Hutchinson, who was a boat builder and a boat hirer in Dunoon. And in Dunoon, there was a culture of people renting out and hiring boats because it was part of just the economic development in the area. It was highly reliant on tourism. So if you imagine Dunoon, the rise of tourism in Dunoon started taking place about the 1820s. And lots of people interested in the healing properties of seawater. And there's lots of, there's a story about a hotel in Dunoon, there was a hydroponic hotel, so there's lots of activity in the 1820s. The promenade at the back of the beach hut was built by the councillors at the time, the commissioners of Dunoon, and they put the promenade there with great pomp and ceremony, because that was a way of people being able to engage with the beach and take promenade walks, sort of good for your health and stuff. So Dunoon, like many economies in Argyll, is very reliant on that tourism infrastructure. And the project that I suppose we're looking at was trying to sort of bring together the threads of this cultural heritage that we had around beach huts that was very specific to Dunoon, but also trying to think about how can we engage people with the sort of the beach and the health of the beach, and help get people involved in the design process, because I think that as a design process is a good one in terms of the different points in which you can use research to get people engaged in making solutions. So, next slide, please. So this is West Bay through the ages, as it were. So we can see beach huts, and they've changed, the design of them changes over time. There's a Lido up there as well. So one of the big projects that the council did back in the 1930s, where they built this massive Lido, and it looks like something from the Riviera, and it lasted about 20 years, if that, in terms of its use, because it was in the wrong part of the beach, and it actually now is no longer. So some of these things, looking back through heritage, we can start to understand where things go wrong in the past as well. So you can see as well the Turner's beach huts, that's a family beach hut, again, boat hires beach huts. And so part of the project was very much about trying to use this heritage and think about how to use it to start conversations about what people want being done with things. So the project started pretty much this time last year. And we did the first workshop was around COP26, and it was thinking about, well, if you're going to put a beach hut on a beach and you're also going to get rising sea levels, where are you going to position it? So we started to sort of just think about how that, because West Bay is what's called a PBA, so it's I'm going to embarrass myself now. So it's basically, it's somewhere where climate change is going to affect it, and there's points along West Bay where it's going to be really vulnerable to that. So we were looking and working with the community, we interviewed people, so people who remembered West Bay back in the heydays, as it were, and also because of COVID, and because of seeing that people were engaging with the beach in a different way. There were swimmers on West Bay. We were asking people, what do you want from beach hut? Is it somewhere to change, or do you need different things? So again, it was talking people through that process and doing that really deep work around how do you get people talking about context and thinking about this context of designing solutions that married with need. We also went into the schools as well, and we did a bit of work. We managed to wrangle with the council to get some funding to use traditional skills workshops to work with a boat builder, and the boat builder went into the schools and the community, and we've been prototyping and building things in the schools that talk to this agenda of constructing things out of materials, using traditional boat building skills because of that heritage again. So we did that very deep bit of work and asked people what they wanted to see, and just took sort of, I suppose, guidance from them. about what they wanted to see and how should it be designed. And some really interesting observations as well, particularly the one about women being excluded from in the past as well. So women are now changing on the beach quite openly, and some women are feeling quite vulnerable because of that. So lots of these issues that maybe wouldn't have got discussed kind of came into our process. So these are some of the workshops. So what we ended up doing was thinking through some of the challenges and engaging also with planning, engaging with people who were working on sustainable beach management. And the thing that came up again and again was that the biodiversity of the beach was really important, and actually planning would not allow you to put a beach on West Bay anymore on a shingle beach because of the biodiversity. So that was one of the strong things that came through. So we started to design solutions that just simply adapted to the context, elements of the built environment. So you can see on the right, a solution that would just sit on a wall, wouldn't touch the shingle, and we started to build those, got people involved in building in those workshops, got people weaving things out of hazel, again, bringing them together to make stuff in the community to try and talk about through these issues. We were preparing for an exhibition on West Bay of the work and of the research. So all along the way, we've been collecting data and information from people about the heritage, but also about the different functions of the layers of heritage, if you want, and the built environment. And we designed, commissioned work to get sort of images designed that fitted in with research as well. We were about to go, I suppose, to have an exhibition on West Bay when suddenly, it looks like, this happened. So the council, the amenities department, got some complaints from other people, Facebook group, but also some people ringing them up, and they decided that they wanted to clean up West Bay, and so put a digger on West Bay and removed all the shingle and biodiversity that we've been sort of researching and advocating for the preservation of. So this happened in September, late August. So at the moment our project is actually on pause whilst we try and figure out how to, I suppose, respond. Having some really interesting conversations with people at the moment about what they want to see happen. Really challenging stuff, because you think, well, have I got this wrong? We don't think we've got it wrong. We think what's happened is that the voices that have shouted loudest have kind of got their own way, and the amenities team have kind of harked back to the way that they've looked after the beach historically. The research that we've done really clearly outlines that you should not be removing shingle and biodiversity from a beach, particularly in a beach where there's such high amenity and there's good local engagement with that biodiversity as well. So there's work to be done there, and the next stage of the project now is to actually have a meeting with the amenities team to try and advocate for better beach management. But anyway, the project, there's lots of research that's actually online, so if you'd like to go to the last slide. So there's a website, and there's films that we've made and all sorts of things on that website, and articles that we've written that share some of the research, because I think it's really important that we try and share information as much as possible. And I think a number of speakers have touched on that today, because some of this stuff is new to people, and we are trying our best as a soil organisation to do that. And that's how we're doing it at the moment, through talks, but also through the website. So please take a look. And I'd be interested to speak to anyone else as well, if we've got similar challenges, and how they got over them. Anyway, that's...
Thank you so much.